quickly jump right into the NBA talk. Last night we had a thrilling game, a game that looked at the future of the NBA. We had the Knicks and the Lakers, the two big name franchises in the NBA of the coasts, New York and LA, with two young
Big market franchise.
Yeah. It was a good game, back and forth. Porzingis scored 37, 11, and 5 blocks. First one to do something like that since Patrick Ewing.
I think he's the first one ever.
Well, 5 threes.
5 threes.
He's the first one ever, but the first one was 37, 11, and 5 blocks since Patrick Ewing in the 80s for the Knickerbockers. Which was, Porzingis is really becoming that kind of player. For me, actually, with Porzingis, I think he has a chance to actually become the best player in the NBA now.
Yeah.
Because of his two-way talent.
I think
he already he came into the league as a sharp shooting big. And then he was able to add scoring through the mentorship of Carmelo. Now we see a lot of his shots he takes is similar to the way Carmelo used to play basketball. In that mid-range game, Porzingis completely taking that onto his game.
He's just a little bit faster.
And he's taller, so he can just turn and shoot, whereas Melo had to do a little bit more.
Yeah, he can't just turn around and you get blocked.
Correct.
More like he would have to actually manipulate the
difference for Porzingis is the fact that he's very athletic for his size, so he can guard 1 through 5, really. But then he's actually an elite shot blocker. Led the league in blocks for much of the season already until he got hurt. So in that sense, I could project maybe in 3 years, Porzingis could be the best player in the NBA, not just the best player in the East. When LeBron starts to take a tail back, and Kevin Durant starts to take a tail back, when we think of the young players as taking the next step with Joel Embiid and Giannis Antetokounmpo,
that's all I was about to say. Those
and Kawhi Leonard.
I think those are going to be some great competition matches between the Knicks and the Bucks.
Yeah.
Giannis again.
Well, Giannis and Porzingis, I think. And to that note,
to guard each other, it's just going to be electrifying.
Correct. And then to bring those into like kind of the conversation we're about to have about Lonzo Ball and his brothers going to play in Lithuania professionally. When we talk about the players like Giannis Antetokounmpo and Kristaps Porzingis, they were both professionals at 15 years old overseas. And you can see the development that they have over the players that are in their drafts. So when you compare, let's say, Porzingis to Karl Anthony Towns, he's a little bit more skilled than Karl Anthony Towns. And Karl Anthony Towns went 1 year at college here in America, whereas Porzingis was 3 years professional in Spain before he came over to America. So you can see kind of the different levels of skills, whereas Porzingis could dribble the ball from the perimeter. He could do virtually anything offensively. Whereas Karl Anthony Towns can spot up outside, but he's best in the post, really.
Yeah.
And then to Giannis Antetokounmpo, also was professional from 15 years old. You can see the kind of difference between him and the people of his draft, whereas he's separating himself because of his sheer level of ability. He can do virtually anything on the court. He can shoot the ball, but doesn't need to. He can play defense. He's actually top 10 in block shots, top 10 in steals. That is unheard of. And he's shooting over 50%.
Mm-hmm.
I think that has a lot to do with the fact that he was playing professionally way before his peers in that draft overseas. Now back to what we were talking about with the game. The game actually featured point guard Lonzo Ball, the second pick of the draft, and the 8th pick overall, Frank Ntilikina. The two rookie point guards went head-to-head for a lot of the fourth quarter and overtime. Ntilikina was able to hit some big shots and help the Knicks get the win, whereas Lonzo showed why he will be special. He was able to do a lot of things to keep the Lakers in the game.
It was a real good back-and-forth game.
Your thoughts on the young Lonzo and Ntilikina?
I think there's going to be some interesting prospects. I still need to see a little bit more from Frank in order for me to really feel confident the way you feel confident about him. But he seems like he can be a real solid 6-man to me.
Okay.
He seems like a really good solid 6-man. I do like Lonzo. I think he's gotten I think he's taken a little bit too much criticism for his they say a lot of his shooting, but if you compare most of his shooting compared to most of the top rookies in the league, he's not too far behind.
Correct.
His all-around gameplay has been pretty much. He doesn't look like a rookie to me.
Correct.
The way he plays, the way he starts the game. So, I think that it's the sky's the limit for these two young guys. But I think Lonzo Ball will probably have the better career.
Okay. For me, when I look at them, I've been watching them for quite a while, so I kind of have a lot more background to both of them. I've seen Lonzo since he was 16. I've seen Ntilikina since he was maybe about 17. So I've had a little bit more view to seeing them grow, and I have more privy to what their games are. That kind of makes them special. So for me, with Lonzo, But I think their careers will depend on their teams because they're both team first players.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the success of their team will dictate how great their careers are. If I was to project who they are for the long run of their careers, I think Lonzo Ball will be the modern era Jason Kidd, whereas I see Frank Ntilikina being the modern day Jason Kidd. I mean, Gary Payton. When Gary Payton and Jason Kidd actually came up in the same area of Oakland, Gary Payton actually mentored Jason Kidd as a kid, so it's kind of odd that we use these as parables. But when I see Frank Ntilikina, his skill is solely defense. Like he has extremely long arms, over 7-foot wingspan, and he's an elite defender that can shoot long range. He can shoot well. He's just getting his confidence to shoot, and he has great court vision. He can pass well. So when I compare that to say Gary Payton, who was actually a great passer and a great defender that improved offensively as he grew in the NBA, that's why I see a lot of that in Frank Ntilikina.
Mm-hmm.
Because from day one, Gary Payton was an elite defender. He was an elite steals. So when I see Lonzo Ball, I compare him to Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd was a great passer, a phenomenal setter-upper of his teammates, which is Lonzo Ball's generational talent.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to compare Lonzo to Magic Johnson. Their games are not very much at all.
They're not the same. I guess they compare them just for the close numbers and triple doubles.
Yeah, I think Magic being the best point guard ever, he being the Laker
I guess,
standard for point guard,
and Magic being the president of the situation. So it's almost playing to the hype. Yeah. But I think Ben Simmons is closer to Magic than Lonzo, because Lonzo doesn't do hook shots.
No, not at all.
Not at all. So
he really has no interior game.
No real, except for rebounding.
He can actually post people up.
He's posted people up. He's taking it straight to the rack in front of defenders. Lonzo cannot do that.
Correct.
So I don't get their comparison.
Other than Magic being the God Laker point guard.
That's legit.
Lonzo now trying to reach that level as the Laker point guard for the future. That's about the only thing you can really kind of like compare them up to.
It's like Kyrie going to the Cavs and saying that's the next LeBron. It's like, this really makes sense. Like, they're going to be talented, but it's not the same skill set.
Correct.
So
for me, I actually would say I think Lonzo and Ntilikina will be the best players of the draft.
Mm-hmm.
We do have De'Aaron Fox, Markelle Fultz, Donovan Mitchell is having a great start to the season. I told them before the draft, the Pistons should have drafted Donovan Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
I said it over and over that night. There was no reason for him to get past 12. Donovan Mitchell was 6'3" with a 6'11" wingspan.
Let's think about it. They would not even need to make the trade for Bradley, but they probably would have made the trade for Bradley, but who knows?
Correct.
It probably would not. It still would have worked out.
Correct. I mean, he could have came off the bench behind Reggie Jackson.
And then you don't pick up Kennard and you pick up someone else. It could have been a real.
It would have been fine, but I mean, that's just my opinion. I think he's doing fine with the Utah Jazz. But the point that I'm making here, when I see Kyrie Irving and Steph Curry in 2012, I felt like they had a great chance to become generational talents in the years to come. I felt it would be better than Brandon Jennings, Ricky Rubio, Kemba Walker, Johnny Flynn. And that same thing I see with Lonzo Ball and Frank Ntilikina. Now, when I see the Ben Simmons, Donovan Mitchell, Dennis Smith, they're good players, but they don't have the two-way talent that Lonzo Ball and Frank Ntilikina have. Mm-hmm. Ntilikina can legitimately average probably 18 and 8 with 2 steals for the rest of his career because he can shoot over anybody and he can shoot. So the more that he gets his confidence, he's going to be able to score 20 a game. And with Porzingis being there to space the floor out for him, Frank will easily be able to score points. And then with Lonzo now, Lonzo is going to be the future of the Lakers. And with Magic being the president, that everything that will be necessary for Lonzo to be great will be there for him. Not to forget, he got his father there to actually hold him down throughout the whole process. So, and then he's a two-way talent. He's already been elite defensively as a rookie just by his defense win shares. So, when I look at the other players with like a Dennis Smith or a Ben Simmons or Markelle Fultz or even a De'Aaron Fox, I don't necessarily see the same levels of two-way ability. I don't think Dennis Smith will be an elite defensive player. I don't think Ben Simmons will be an elite defensive player. Whereas De'Aaron Fox, I think, does have two-way potential. His situation, I think, is very questionable.
I still think Ben Simmons, with his size and skill set, he still would be a top elite player in the league.
I don't think he won't. I think for sure, and even to the players that I mentioned, like Kemba Walker versus Steph Curry and Kyrie Irving. Kemba Walker is an elite player. I don't.
You're just saying like they're not going to fall into that level.
I just think who's going to be honestly who's going to come out the crowd. Like for instance, with the Kevin Durant versus Michael Beasley. Like Beasley and Kevin Durant both looked like they were going to be great small forwards.
And then one keeps.
But Michael Beasley never had a defensive edge, whereas Kevin Durant from college block shots.
But then even also with the Ben Simmons, I think it also plays into the fact of the team he's in.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly don't think that team. I think the 76ers are the NBA version of the Cleveland Browns. So I don't see him like really continuing with that team and building a foundation. I don't see that team staying the way it is for the next 2 years. I see possibly Joel Embiid probably leaving. Mm-hmm. He's been speaking out a lot lately this offseason, both due to the trades and through the situation with teammates now.
He didn't like what happened to Joe Elko.
He don't like what's happening with Markelle Fultz.
Yeah.
And these are things that's going to play its way into the locker room, into the court.
Yeah.
And I think this is also going to play a way into how they all develop as one another. And if players start leaving, it's going to be really hard to really develop and get a real trend, a good core with your teammates.
Yeah.
So I think that's what kind of plays with the fact of most of that. And then with the Knicks, just know how the Knicks get. I think Frank could be good, but they like to get rid of some players sometimes.
Well, I think the history would say something different, but the fact that the Knicks finally have a stable front office and Steve Mills and Scott
they had them for a while, so if they lock them in and these are the guys they really want, I would love to see Frank spend at least 6 years.
The reason I don't think Frank is going anywhere is because of how great Porzingis already is.
Yeah.
Like, Porzingis now can demand who he wants there, and he's already said, like, I want Frank to be my point guard.
Yeah, because he's a new face, so at least at that point, he can always stick there.
Correct. So then moving right into the next notion. So who would you say has the brighter future? The Los Angeles Lakers with their young talent, Lonzo Ball, Kyle Kuzma, Julius Randle, or the Knicks with Porzingis, Tim Hardaway Jr., Frank Ntilikina, and their young talent on that?
Honestly, what I can say is possibly just looking at it right now as their roster stands, not with who they may or may not potentially get. I say the Knicks. Just for the fact that they actually have a solid shooter.
Okay.
At any given time, you have someone that can drain that bucket for you. The Lakers don't necessarily have
to go to
a go-to. It's like, all right, you have Lonzo who can pass the ball.
Well, Brandon Ingram is getting to that level.
Brandon Ingram is getting there. Yeah. But I'm still not consistently seeing it yet. Mm-hmm. So it's I think he has one game this season. He has over 30 points.
Something like that.
So
he struggled.
a few times. And then Kuzma, they showcase him a lot, but you can see that first couple of months has died down a little bit. Mm-hmm. So it's like, and then Julius Randle was still waiting. Mm-hmm. So like you think with all these weapons, he was supposed to shine because of how he finished off last year really strong. Mm-hmm. I thought this year he was going to come out balling. Mm-hmm. He's kind of been really kind of quiet to me. Mm-hmm. But with the Knicks, with Tim Hardaway Jr., I think he's hurt.
Yeah, he's hurt now.
He's a good shooter. Mm-hmm. With Courtney Lee, who's been known to
top 5 in 3-point percentage right now.
Okay,
shooting very well.
And Porzingis, who's been pretty much almost averaging close to 30 points per game. In rebounds and blocks. So he's helping you in defense, he's helping you in offense. As of right now, the way that it looks, the Knicks pretty much have that better future. They have that team where it's like, okay, anything shorter than the playoffs between next year and now, next year and on, we're a failure. Whereas Lakers still got 2 more years of rebuilding, of where they can still say, like, we still need a shooter.
Correct.
That's just me. Because look, at the same point, they were still looking for Paul George. The Knicks weren't looking for a superstar to fill in their team. The Lakers were still looking for Paul George, and they couldn't get him.
That's right.
So they're still looking.
I agree. For me, I'd have to agree on that. I do think the Knicks have the brighter future. And to me, it's simply because in the NBA, you just need 2 superstar players to really be relevant. And with Porzingis, we already see that he'll be a top 10 talent for the remainder of his career.
And everyone else could just wing into it.
Whereas, and then we see that Frank Ntilikina, at least a lottery pick that looks like he'll be a player. If he's not even great, he'll be at least a contributor.
With Porzingis' talent, you can almost throw a couple of pieces in there if it don't kind of work out too well. With the Lakers, who's their leading scorer?
You don't have that main talent yet.
Who's their real leading scorer?
You have Brandon Ingram, he was a second pick, and he looks
like
he's
Brook Lopez, who's like wing.
I feel like this with the Lakers as far as their young talents concerned, with Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, Julius Randle, Kyle Kuzma, Jordan Clarkson. I think they have a lot. They have a good young nucleus.
Yeah.
But I would say, to me, to say that they're brighter than the Knicks, you would have to say that they have something greater than Porzingis.
Yeah.
Or something that could eclipse Porzingis right now. And I really don't see it. And the Knicks have other players that are actually young. Doug McDermott is 25. Cantor is 26.
These are young.
Quinn is, I believe, is 26. So Knicks don't even have really old players on their team besides Jared Jack, who they really the mentor Ntilikina.
Who's Jack and Sessions, and Sessions hasn't played since game 1. So
basically, but and then the Lakers, I can't say that their future's bright. They don't even own their draft pick for next season. That first pick is actually going away to I believe Boston.
No.
Or the Nets.
Nets.
But the Lakers' next draft pick is actually going away to another team, so they don't even have their first round pick for next year.
And then they can't touch Paul George off the off season issues for them talking to him before, so they can't talk. They can't even touch Paul George next year.
Nah.
So at this point, this is why I say 2 years.
Yeah.
They still a rebuild.
Yeah.
I think really.
Yeah.
They might get LiAngelo.
Mike, I'm believing all of this. I gotta see it not happen
For me to say
not gonna happen.
At this point, yeah, you gotta say
after the Lonzo situation.
You got to
say Lonzo will be a Laker in January. In January,
he's been saying
the draft is in June.
He's been saying
it before that.
No, he's been saying he's a Laker before he left college.
Facts.
Before he went to college.
He said that he's going to UCLA.
While he was in
Chino Hills.
Chino Hills, he was a Laker.
I definitely heard LeVar say January. My boy Lonzo, after he leaves UCLA, will be a Laker. And I'm laughing like, you don't even know where the Lakers going to draft that.
They got number 2, and then it was like, okay, that's kind of close.
Then it was like, well, are they even going to draft him there? Because they like Dennis Smith. Dennis Smith had a super workout for the Lakers.
Boom! Pick him up right away, no questions.
After that, I don't got no questions for LeVar no more.
I say, you know what?
We predicted this months in advance.
Just get LiAngelo's going, because now when he comes from the situation like this, it's almost going to fall into place, because the Lakers going to need somebody, and right now they need a scorer. They need a legit.
Well, Brandon is the guy.
I get Brandon away, but I get it. But
I think they need to go out and get Mario Hezonja from the Orlando Magic to play two guard for the Lakers. I think
they need a shooter.
Him being the J.R. Smith that he could be. And the Orlando is not going to play him behind Fournier. Let Mario come over to L.A., you know what I'm saying? Play along with Lonzo Ball.
Something has happened, because they just need better, because Lonzo had money with a solid shooter. Like
Poe is a good player. I just feel like Poe's a good player. I just feel like, they're still a very young team and they're starting to learn each other. And I don't know if Poe is in the cards for the long run.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that does not allow them to develop the necessary.
Poe looks like he's playing for a contract.
I think he is. He signed a 1-year deal, I believe, for $20 million.
Yeah, so he's playing for that big paper.
Oh yeah,
somewhere else probably.
I think where he could end up next year would be Dallas.
Yeah, I think he's going for.
I think Dallas would be a good situation for him next year, where he could be with Harrison Barnes. They're both around the same age, and they're. But I can't tell.
I'm not sure if they could work with the.
Well, Harrison being 3. Well, they don't really have guards. It's just Dennis Smith
and Yogi Ferrell,
who's another little guard.
And
so they don't really have. And they got Wes Matthews
and JJ Barrera.
JJ Barrera, all just little guards. So they don't really have a big 2 guard. Whereas Poe is 6'6", legitimately can shoot from the outside.
JJ Barrera's getting older, so they might be a person that they like.
Hey man, Dirk.